That's why when people say to me, gee, I'd love an ounce of gold, Harry, but I don't want to pay these prices. And my answer is, I understand. However, next week, these may look like a bargain.
Yeah.
With the upward pressure on price.
Did you know SD Bullion is giving away a monster box of 2023 Silver Eagles? Sign up today at sdbullion.com/sweepstakes. All right, we're headed back to Harry's coin shop. It's raining today, no surprise. We're going to talk to Harry and see what his thoughts are on precious metals right now. What's going on with gold and silver?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah,
We're doing great. Well.
First thing I have to say is there is less silver in your shop than there was the last time I was here. So it's been about 2 weeks. People are obviously buying it up, huh?
They are, and in large part thanks to your video, we have a lot of new customers who are demanding this. Certainly not complaining, but it's increased the pressure on inventory.
Are people specifically wanting the junk silver, or is it basically everything? They want all the bullion too, or?
Yes, both. Answer is yes to both. Some want 90%, some want bullion, some want both.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, looking at like your silver rounds, it appears to be a little bit thinner as well. I just imagine that demand has been pretty crazy these last few weeks.
It has, and one of the things that I was thinking about, this shouldn't come as news to most of your viewers, but when we run out of rounds or it gets thin, as you said, we will eventually get more when inventories catch up. But with the junk silver and 90% constitutional, none of this has been minted since 1964. That's 59 years. And every year more and more of it's melted. And so the supply is forever dwindling.
Yeah.
And therefore, people who want this are going to have a more difficult time going forward. There's never going to be more of it.
Right. Yeah, it's a limited supply. Do you think that more people buy when the price is going up or when the price is going down? Because I feel like when the price was pretty low, people didn't care about silver.
It's my experience that we get more new customers and sell more silver and gold when the price is spiking, because when it hits the regular news media, not YouTube channels that are specific to the metals, but it hits the general media, people who don't normally follow this feel like they're missing out.
Yeah.
And start coming in and buying.
And I could see too, like, I think it was like 20x maybe last time.
Yes.
Price has gone up, but obviously there's less silver here, so people are buying it even with the higher prices. I mean,
we're just trying to stay competitive.
Really?
And we have to pay a lot more to even find it.
One thing I have noticed is that premiums at most of the online bullion dealers have gone up way higher than they were just over the last few weeks. Obviously, your premiums go up as well. When you source this stuff, I mean, is it getting harder to find, or is it just you have to wait longer for it to be in stock?
Again, the 90% is very hard to find right now.
Really?
Very hard. People aren't parting with it.
Like, let's say I wanted to buy all of your junk silver, which I'm not going to. But let's say I was like, all right, we're just going to buy them out. Would you be able to replace it, or how long would it take you to replace what you got in here?
Just a few days after the video aired, and it was just that spike in metals, and some of the viewers calling in. I mean, we're completely wiped out for like a day, but I mean, I was able to make some calls and get some stuff shipped over to us. But even that's running a little low with what we can get in, because like Harry was saying, the wholesalers are just paying over the top for these things, and we try to keep it in stock so we can keep our customers happy and keep it in stock as much as we can.
Yeah, so it's possible that if you guys sold out, you might not be able to get more for a while, right? I mean, that's possible.
For sure. The big distributors, like where we sometimes have to get rounds and so forth, are charging more to us than we're asking for it. So in other words, our replacement cost from the big distributors would be more than 24 times.
No way.
For sure.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So if you bought more, you'd have to charge even higher premiums.
If I bought from them. Yeah.
Wow. So does that mean that if people are bringing in precious metals to sell right now, they could get more for their money this week than a few weeks back?
More than we've ever given. We were paying 2 days ago 21 times face just to get this replaced.
No
So that's,
way.
you know, one more times face than you saw in the last video where we were selling it for 20.
So if someone bought it 2 weeks ago at 20x, they could bring it in today and you'd buy it back for 21.
Yes,
Happily.
definitely.
Yeah.
So literally in 2
It's so hard
weeks.
to replace it.
That's amazing.
And people, you know, I know they're upset when they've done this for a long time and they say, gee, the 90% used to be a lower premium per ounce than rounds ever were. But I, again, believe those days are over because of a dwindling supply.
Yeah. Yeah, you just can't get it. They don't make it. I mean,
There's no more being made.
and people don't want to get rid of it. Once they have it, they just want to keep it forever and pass it on to their kids.
Indeed.
Well, one thing, if we look back at the bullion case here, I will notice you guys have more gold, at least, you know, out here on display.
We got near a record high yesterday on gold. The record high is $2,076, and it was at 2021. And so people who have been waiting to sell jumped on the moment. And so we probably spent $80,000 yesterday just on gold.
So you were buying it. So people are trying to get rid of it then because they felt like the price was sort of peaking, or
Yeah, that they're trying to time the peak, which is impossible, but I
Yeah.
think they caught it pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, well, that may be the case, but I think over the next probably few months and certainly over the next few years, I feel like $2,000 gold is probably relatively low compared to where it could go.
That's why when people say to me, gee, I'd love an ounce of gold, Harry, but I don't want to pay these prices. And my answer is, I understand. However, next week, these may look like a bargain
Yeah.
with the upward pressure on price.
Yeah, just like with the junk silver, they could literally have made money over 2 weeks buying it and reselling it back to you.
That's absolutely true on the junk silver.
Don't you feel like with everything that's going on in the world with the dollar and inflation, possibly losing the petrodollar, world reserve currency status, I mean, there's so many things going on. Don't you feel like people are trying to get out of the dollar and trying to move into something more safe?
I can't comment too specifically on the global picture because I'm really not an economist, but I can tell you on the ground here in the shop, we hear it over and over. I want to get out of my bank account or my 401k or my CD and get it into metals.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, a microcosm of the bigger picture is that people want to get out of paper and into the metals.
Well, it's smart. I mean, you agree as well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
a safer place to have your money.
Yes, we've had people that come in and, you know, like Harry said, taking out money from their 401ks and some having trouble doing that and because they want to convert it over to metals. But yeah, it's been quite an influx of people that are trying to replace their dollars for gold, real assets.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, that people were selling their gold. Now, were they selling their gold and just taking cash, or were they trying to buy silver with that money? I'm curious what people were doing.
There were one or two who made some big trades from gold to silver, but for the most part were just cashing out. Some for, like, one person was doing a down payment on a house, but most just felt like it's hit a peak, I'm going to get out, I've been waiting.
Yeah. Well, for the person making the down payment on the house, I think that's a great idea. If you're trading from, you know, one safe asset to another safe asset, that seems smart to me. But if you're just going back into paper, it kind of feels like you're doing the opposite of what you were trying to accomplish a little bit.
Yeah, unless someone volunteers why they're selling, we don't typically ask why. It's a private matter.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd be surprised how many people actually will share, though. Like that gentleman that said, and it was we had another person that came in and they were buying a house for their daughter, and you know, just you seem to see people going from, if they're going for metals, they're usually going into another sort of investment. Very rarely, you know, I would think somebody's selling just to stay and sit on cash.
Well, one thing I'd like to say, because we addressed it a moment ago, the paper market, like a 401k, where someone's under the age of 59 and a half, I'm very cautious, and I even will tell people, you want to think about that, because not only are you taxed on any gains you've had over the years, but if you're under the age of actually being able to draw it out legally, you're going to be penalized 10% right off the top.
Yeah.
So you really got to think about that move.
Right. I mean, I certainly wouldn't recommend cashing out your 401k at a penalty. Like for example, I have a 401k and I'm just leaving everything in there.
Sure.
But extra money that I have in savings and stuff like that, it's basically all going into metals.
But we've seen it, and I wish people well with it, but I think it's a very dicey move.
Yeah. Well, you should be diversified. You should have money in several different places. Not all of it in your 401k, not all of it in metals. That's my opinion, and it sounds like you guys probably agree with that.
I do.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to have all your eggs in one basket.
Do you feel like people, when they come in the shop, they're mostly looking to purchase silver? Because I know the gold-silver ratio is fairly high right now. It seems undervalued. You mentioned gold was near an all-time high. Silver is only like half of its all-time high.
That's right.
So do you feel like silver is just more popular right now, or is it kind of a mixture?
Well, I mean, silver is more accessible to the average person. Everyone likes gold, but many can't afford it. So silver is a viable option and happens to currently have a lot more upside if you look at not what pie in the sky numbers are, but really where the metals have actually been before.
Yeah.
Again, gold is $66 off its all-time high, and as you pointed out, silver is half of its all-time high.
Right.
So there is some experience looking at silver saying, that's a bargain. And furthermore, just thinking of one or two of the comments on the last video from one of your, maybe two of your viewers asked why we didn't talk about platinum or why we don't have platinum.
Yeah.
We actually don't get much in here. And when we do, it sells readily. But I think gold is far more popular just from a visual standpoint. Platinum looks like silver,
Yeah.
but it's 40 times the cost. But gold, there's something, I don't know, visceral about gold. It's almost like in our DNA to love gold. And I think just from a visual standpoint, it sells a lot better.
And just kind of going to the point of Harry, where platinum looks like silver. We recently had a gentleman come in. He had a bag of silver. So it was silver dollars, a couple silver eagles, and there was a tube of the 1 nobles, 1 ounce platinum coins in there.
Yeah.
So he was expecting, a couple hundred, maybe $1,000. And, there was 10 ounces of platinum in there.
Wow.
So he was just mind blown. He was like, "Are you kidding me? There was platinum in there?" So it's just kind of that point where it's, you look at silver, you look at platinum, looks similar, but yeah, they all have their own little essence to them,
Yeah.
That was fun to have Adrian be able to give someone such great news.
Do you think he got it maybe at like an estate sale or something, or did he mention?
It was an inheritance from a family member.
Okay,
So
I
he was
see.
kind of going through everything and just trying to get organized. But if you're not a stacker, you don't really pay close attention. You just see, oh, I've seen those dollars before. It looks like silver. But yeah, it was a great surprise for the gentleman.
Well, that's a good thing too he came in here, because I know there definitely are some other coin shops where they would have been like, "Oh, yep, this is all silver. Here's your $1,000."
Yeah.
Like Adrian said, I got to be able to sleep at night. and you know what, people ought to be cautious when they've had an inheritance. Don't assume what something is without actually reading the coin,
Yeah.
because it truly does look like silver. However, it's worth a whole lot more. And if you're not careful, you'll get silver money for it. And that's not right.
No, it's not right. And I've purchased a small bit of platinum myself, and it's heavy. It kind of feels like gold in your hand. I mean, if you're familiar with metals, you can kind of go, "Oh, wait, this is a lot heavier than it should be." But yeah, I mean, I would prefer to have an ounce of gold over an ounce of platinum, not for the price point, but like you mentioned, it just looks better. And there's something almost like, I don't know, in us that we're just kind of drawn to the shininess of gold. I don't know what it is, but
There's something about it. I mean, people have been seeking it for 5,000 years, starting wars over it. And I don't think it's changed. I think it's gotten more popular.
yeah. Well, I know the central banks certainly are buying lots of gold right now. I'm not sure if they're kind of seeing the end of the dollar is maybe near, and they're wanting to put a lot of their wealth into hard assets, and I certainly think individuals should be doing that.
If the central banks are buying it, that's a good tip for the rest of us,
Yeah.
that it's probably something you should have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's big money right there. If big
Yeah.
money is moving into gold, you should probably take a look at it.
Yes.
Well, one last thing I want to ask you about as we're kind of wrapping up here. I notice you have a few coins which are milk spotted. Maybe you could pull one out. Okay, so if we take a look at this silver coin, there's obviously some fingerprints on it, and it's certainly milk spotted. That's kind of why it looks different. What would you guys pay for a milk spotted silver coin versus a non-milk spotted silver coin? Is this something people need to be worried about?
If you come here, we don't make a distinction.
Really?
And what I say to people is, would you buy this coin? And I answer, with a little humor, I did buy this coin.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, it's only important if you, the buyer, are bothered by it.
Right.
Because it's still an ounce of silver.
Yeah.
And so we paid the same price for these as we did for all the shiny ones.
Wow. Well, that's really good to know, because some coin shops, they'll pay less for the milk spotted. They'll kind of treat them like a silver round. Mm-hmm. So if they were going to pay a $3 premium, now they'll only pay a $1 premium. But there are coin shops out there like you guys who, hey, silver's silver, and apparently the condition doesn't matter as much.
Well, you have to remember the times we're in too. Maybe we could get real picky, but the truth is this stuff's selling just about regardless of how it looks.
Yeah, so people just want it so much, it doesn't even matter to them if it's milky.
Not currently.
And like I mentioned before, if people are looking to purchase some physical silver, physical gold, definitely got to come check out Harry's Coin Shop. There's a few people that asked where you guys were, and it's in Beaverton, Oregon. So we'll show your card here once again. We got we got Adrian's card, but wow, it looks like people have been taking your card,
Yeah,
Harry.
we're out of the cards too.
And again, another way to reach us as well is through our Instagram. Any orders or any questions, we're always happy to help.
Great information. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.